Speaking of recent IPOs, did want to get to WeWork this morning, or the We Company, as they like to.
How much did that cost We Company to be able to call itself We Company?
I don't know what it costed, but I think
did they
we're
pay
going to have an opportunity to discuss this in the future, because as of now, everybody close to this situation indicates it's full speed ahead with the plans for an IPO. There's been some press. And by the way, our Leslie Picker's been reporting on the likelihood of this as well. There's been some press, including in the FT, about SoftBank's potential resistance to an IPO. We've talked about that over the last week or so as the expected range of said IPO has come down and down and down. You've wondered whether SoftBank would sit there and try to perhaps protest and say, please don't, because you're going to force us to mark down our current investment, some $10 billion they put in the company at higher valuations. But it does appear, guys, that they are fully poised to begin a roadshow as soon as Monday.
Really?
For the IPO. And if it's got to get done at $18 billion or $19 billion, it appears that at this point the We Company is fully ready to take that on. And perhaps you get down to that level, you actually find some demand, and you can have a successful initial public offering.
No, David, I think a lot of people out who are watching this are saying to themselves, how desperate, what the heck do they need to do the deal for?
Well, they need to raise the money, given how much they're spending. They have some debt, some covenants in their debt as well that is somewhat dependent on their ability to raise a certain amount of money. So it's important to them. Without a doubt. And, the way the calendar's working, it would appear that likely perhaps they're going to start as soon as Monday in terms of a roadshow. Typically, they go 2 weeks. Not clear if they'd want to try and cut it a little short to get ahead of the Jewish holiday, Rosh Hashanah, which is the 30th, I think. But we'll see. But that's where things stand right now with the We Company. Obviously, SoftBank may be looking at, on paper at least, if they do come at this kind of valuation, a significant write-down, or at least there's some analysts out with numbers today about it. I think Bernstein looking at what they'd have to take.
Periodically, people have to take losses. Periodically.
Yeah.
Part of the game.
Yeah, it's part of the game. Vision Fund 1's done very well. Yeah. The question is, how does it impact Vision Fund 2? By the way, we did speak to Masa last March. He's such a big fan of the We Company. He wanted to buy a lot more, remember. He told us during this interview, in fact, Masa, who runs SoftBank, that he wanted to buy more. But the Saudis had veto power over his ability to do that, so they did a deal for another few billion at that high valuation of $47 billion. But here's what Masa had to say last March about his overall view of the business model.
They're growing so quickly, and they're investing into the CapEx. Right?
Yep.
But it's a recurring revenue. It's an ongoing recurring revenue. It's like a subscription. The subscription of magazines or newspaper, and now Netflix. Netflix is still losing money, but the value of the company is tremendous compared to other media companies.
Well, I do think that the one saving grace here is that when I check on WeWorks, just in my own informal checks, a lot of them are filled. It's not like they have nothing. It's just that if they hadn't been played so high, I think people, that's cutting back to if it was 18 billion. It is a model that works for small and medium-sized business. So when I met Newman he became almost like Newman from Seinfeld. But when I met Newman, they were just it was so terrific. And the valuation was so low. And I wanted to get an office, just be able to have an office. Maybe just have a place to camp out.
Listen, the bulls will say to you at some point, corporations are going to treat their facilities where they have their workers like they do the cloud. It's going to be a subscription service. I have my cloud providers. I also have the We Company, which takes care of all of my needs from my employees. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to buy the space, build the space, figure out, optimize. They do all of that. And that's the bullish case.
All the we's within a mile of here are filled.
But safe to say you're not a fan of the FT's reporting today that says SoftBank is urging them to shelve the IPO.
Those two things could still be true. They could be urging them, but the We Company is not interested in shelving the IPO.
Well, it's interesting
they
want to do it. This tape is terrible
somebody
for
this
them.
morning said 100%.